Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to talk about the all-new Delta interiors. So what's going on, why are they doing this, and let's see a little bit of what it looks like. So first off, why are they doing this? Well, Delta is refreshing their interiors and overall brand image of their planes from the inside. No new liveries so far, for their centennial anniversary. So this is 100 years of Delta Airlines. And so some of their aircraft will be getting an all new interior. This will include new materials, refreshed outfits for the flight crew, and an overall more modern and maybe upscale look than the current interiors. So let's get right into it. So we're going to discuss the new interiors, what is part of the centennial celebration, a bit of the competition, and how Delta has performed relative to the competition, both domestically and globally. So first off, the interiors. As we talk about the revamped interiors, I did want to say shout out to Lewis. If you don't know, I'm a huge Lewis fan. He just left Mercedes, so this is my little tribute to him at the end of the year. But I digress. Let's talk about the interiors. Now, the interiors, which I'll be showing throughout this video, do look quite nice. That is the overall theme of this. They're not amazing, they're not bad, they just look quite nice. And so it is a modernization of their interiors. Some of their interiors were getting a bit dated, feeling a bit old. What's interesting is these interiors will first show up on the Boeing 757 aircraft, otherwise known as the Flying Pencil. It's a very cool aircraft. It's one of my favorite, but it's also quite old. A lot of their fleet is more than a couple decades old, and this is an airplane that we thought would be coming up for retirement, whereas now we see that no, Delta is definitely going to be keeping these aircraft around for at least another 5 to 7 years with this revamped interior. And so that's cool to see. These airplanes are used domestically and for some shorter international flights. And it looks like it's going to feature a 1-1 for the door closing Delta One cabins. Much like what you'll see maybe on a JetBlue Mint flight, where you have a 1-1 configuration, or the new Iberia A321 XLRs with that 1-1 configuration as well for their business class international flights. So you're getting a bit of that Delta One that you see in the A350s currently. You have the door, you have the nice seats, but also everything behind first class is getting an upgrade as well. So Comfort Plus, Premium Select, and as well as the economy chairs as well. So what I really thought was interesting, and I haven't seen anyone really talk about in terms of this refresh, is that the economy seats are getting much slimmer. So it does say in the briefing that there's going to be new memory foam seats for economy. However, I think that's masking a little bit that we are seeing these super slim seats that you might see on a more low-cost carrier. I've seen this trend happening with these newer revamps where airlines are putting in these slimmer seats to fit more seats. However, they may not be very comfortable. And if the 757 and the future A350 revamps, which this seat will be in A350s in 2025, and these are long flights, how is that going to feel? How are you going to feel in economy with these super slim seats? So really interesting to see, but nice materials. I like the color and the shade of the blue. We're going to get revamps on, the tray tables, and hopefully getting those cup holders where you don't have to like fold down the whole tray table. It's like a two-piece one, all of that. And the bulkheads will be getting a celestial look. So they're really going for kind of that starry night type of feel. There's a lot of celestial callbacks or call outs. So you'll see stars on the bulkhead and in the bathrooms also getting a new azure blue color in them. So more brightening up as well in there. And then the materials do say similar, so you're gonna get a vegan leather in economy, so that's not really changing much. But where we do see a big change is actually in Delta One, where they're gonna move to a fabric instead of a leather material, which I actually like. We're seeing other airlines do this as well. You can see it from Finnair to some of the Eastern Asian airlines as well. And so I think this is a great choice because it is more comfortable on those long haul flights. It's more breathable. And so that's really nice to see. And you're getting that nice Delta One experience with the door, with the lie flat seat, a little bit more refreshed, but not a huge departure from their current Delta One seat. So very much a lot of crossover and carryover from that Delta One seat. And Comfort Plus and Premium Select also very similar. Now their outfits are also gonna get a revamp, so this will be for flight attendants. The flight crew are gonna get new outfits as well. But overall, it looks like the plane is gonna look more modern, a bit more moody, a bit more premium. But that takes me onto our next section, which is the competition, both domestically and internationally, which are also revamping a lot of their cabins in this new push for a lot of leisure, premium travel, not just business travel. So we have seen the competition do a few updates to their interiors as of late. We've seen Turkish Airlines updating their business class. We've seen the new Q suites from Qatar Airways, larger, wider seats, updated materials as well. You got British Airways with their billion-dollar investment into revamping not only their interiors, but their lounges, and just so much going on over there too, because their product was also falling a bit behind. Even Delta themselves have been investing in their lounges with the new Delta One lounges in LAX, in JFK. So there is a lot of investment going on, and that largely probably comes, at least for Delta's sake, from something I'm going to talk a little bit later in the video, but it's related to credit cards. But in any case, when we come and talk about the competition, let's start with domestic. So domestically, really the competition with Delta is American Airlines and United, but I will say that Alaska Air might be getting into the mix, and so we might see that in the future. Keep an eye out for that, because it looks like after the merger with Hawaiian, they want to become the big four, not just the big three of United, American, and Delta. But I digress. When we look at the similar products from American and United, United's Polaris is quite good. It has been quite good, especially as a international product. It's more competitive. American's flagship First is going away and really was not that competitive when you looked at something like Q Suites or Turkish Airlines business class, or even Emirates business class, which, although very nice, a lot of people still don't like because it feels more like an old school business class where it's not really closed off with the door. But Delta is kind of in the middle here. I would say that definitely going forward, I think their Delta One is a great product. I wouldn't call it first class, but I would call it a really great business class, up there with Q Suites. So that's really great to see. It looks like a great product. It looks nice. It looks fresh, a lot more fresh than United's product, and definitely more than American. So we like to see that, and Delta is definitely leading the charge on the premium side of things. It is seen as a more premium airline domestically. But when you look internationally, even with all these upgrades, I don't think that they're super competitive with other airlines. Now, I do think they're quite good. It's not bad, and I would never say no to flying in Delta One. But when we look at the competition, and of course, I keep mentioning this because it is kind of the gold standard right now, which it is the Qatar Q Suites. It is their business class. It is a fantastic product, really on the border between business and first class. You've got a closed door, fantastic meal options, really top notch. You could say it's really first class, but it's a really great product. And so if you're gonna benchmark anyone, you're gonna benchmark them and try to make it like theirs. And so I think that they are doing that a little bit, with the closed off door, not having that open floor that openness that you would traditionally see in older business classes, especially for the planes that are the old LATAM planes that they bought. So those are gonna also get the refresh probably first. And so that's really nice to see. Where it does fall kind of behind is a lot of airlines are kind of leveling up, not just the hard product, but also the soft product. And I think Delta is not as competitive on the soft product. So in terms of the meals and the service, it's just not at the level of the Middle Eastern airlines and some of the Asian airlines as well. So the world is revamping, and I think Delta is doing a little bit too little too late, but we have yet to see. So let's see what they do maybe on the soft product side that makes up for the hard product not being really revolutionary. But let's get into a little bit about why Delta is in a great position right now to do all of these revamps and why they're kind of leading the charge here domestically. So Delta, on the financial side of things, has been doing quite well as of late and outperforming all other domestic airlines, barring Alaskan, which just announced a new credit card. So they're getting into the premium credit card space. But in terms of financial performance, they're making almost $10 billion, more like $7 to $8 billion off of just the partnership with American Express. So just that alone is probably carrying a lot of great cash flow for them to be able to reinvest into their aircrafts beyond just operating profits. So we're seeing a great performance in their stock price, hitting 52-week highs. And so they're really confident right now that they're in a great position to reinvest into their product, which is good. Not just paying back their shareholders and stakeholders, but actually reinvesting into their product to continue this momentum. Whereas we see other airlines such as United and American kind of falling behind and showing that they have not done the work over the last decade to reinvest in their product. And whereas Delta has, and it is now bearing fruit in terms of their stock price, financial performance, and overall their marketing cachet and their brand cachet that they have with the American consumer, which is as the most premium carrier here in this country. But in terms of financial performance globally, of course, it's hard to compare because a lot of airlines might also be subsidized by their governments. We see this in the Middle East with Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airways, which over there are seen as representing their countries, and so they get a lot of subsidies to help elevate their experience and make them competitively priced while also offering better services and better hard products. So although Delta, as kind of functioning in the free market, is doing quite well relatively, it's hard to compare. Although during the pandemic, a lot of these airlines did get a lot of help from the government in terms of some loans to keep them afloat during the pandemic. So I wouldn't say they're totally separate, but they are significantly more in the realm of the free market. I believe another big piece of the performance and why they are reinvesting right now in older products and in revamping older planes is because of aircraft delays. This comes from not only Boeing, but also Airbus. Airbus has a long order list, and it is taking a lot longer for not just Delta, but many airlines to get their new airplanes, from A350s to A321s. And so they're having to continue to reuse older planes until they get those new ones in. And with Delta moving towards a lot of Airbus planes and moving kind of away from Boeing, we're gonna have to see some older planes, but with a refreshed product going forward. And I think that is a larger trend in the industry, that we're seeing a lot of airlines reinvesting in revamping the interiors of a lot of planes because there are simply just years worth of waiting queues to get new planes for a lot of airlines. And so there is quite the competition, and you're gonna have to keep that older product going as long as you can to keep up with these delays that we keep getting from Boeing and Airbus and even Embraer. Now, I want to know what you guys think about this new refresh. Any thoughts about the Delta product? Have you seen how it's played out? Have you been on one of these 757s that supposedly started flying with the new Delta interior? And what are your thoughts on that? And you know, just having flown on the Delta first class experience on kind of an older plane, a 737-800 with just an outdated product, not the newest one. You know, I'm really curious to see what this new one is all about. So stay tuned, because I will definitely try to get on one of these planes once I see them more out in the wild. But yeah, like, subscribe, let me know if you want to see more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.